Hello, everybody. It is time for our. Oh, here comes Warren. I was wondering where he was. It's time for our favorite Genos 2 class today, and we're doing Mrs. Robinson. Did you know that this song was not written for The Graduate? They used it in The Graduate, but it was not written for The Graduate. It was written a couple years before that. This is Simon and Garfunkel, 1968. It became the duo's second number one hit on the Billboard Hot 100. I wonder what the first one was. You guys know? I don't, so that's why I'm asking. Not sure. Bridge Over Troubled Water, maybe? Yeah, yeah, the River Song? I don't think they did Sounds of Silence yet. I think that one was after this one. All right. The phrase cuckoo cuckoo, remember that phrase in here? That's an homage to the Beatles. I am the walrus, cuckoo cuckoo. So, yeah. So a lot of times musicians take from each other. Now let's talk about Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio reference was about American heroes and the fact that genuine heroes are in very short supply. Okay, so they were talking about Joe DiMaggio as being one of those heroes, and somebody asked him about that and said, "Why? Your favorite baseball player was not Joe DiMaggio; it was Mickey Mantle." And he said, "Mickey Mantle doesn't have enough syllables to fit the song." So Joe DiMaggio fit the flow of the song, and that's why they used that one better. Yeah, the song was used in The Graduate, but it was not written specifically for it, so it was not allowed to win the Grammy because it was not written for the film. Okay. All right. Now I have an introduction sheet, which makes it really cool. I like introductions. And I did do the sheet here. Double check me for mistakes because I'm sure I did make some. These are getting easier and easier to make on the instrument. Why? Because I've been using it now for a year and I'm starting to feel comfortable. So if I'm starting to feel comfortable on it, you guys should be starting to feel comfortable on it as well, as far as finding things. But it does take lots of time to look for things. What do I start with? I start with a background. I start with which music style. What style am I going to use? And I write down the ones that I think would work. And then then I go to sounds and I try to make combinations of sounds that are going to work for the singers. That's actually the hardest part of the song, is trying to find the correct sounds that for me work for the singer. Because the singer has to not only sound kind of like the singer, it also has to match the genre of the song. So that's always a toughie. So I write down things like that. And then I'm thinking like which ones of these guys, my multipads, are going to work in the song. And then I kind of write down which section is going to work for something, and then I go search for it and write them down. But that's usually the last thing that I do. So finding the music style first. Now this one is actually pretty easy. I had about 8 different rhythms that would work. If you're on a Lowry, country is going to work, because what you're looking for is a background that goes boom, 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 and that's basically all you need for your background, is getting that rhythm right. All right, so I'm just going to play it. Before I do, we should probably go through a roadmap. So you're going to play the intro first, and I'll go through presets later. Then you're going to play the first verse, page 1, page 2, page 3. In the middle of page 3, you have a DS al coda. Go back to the silly sign, which is where, beginning of the song. Okay. Now, unfortunately, when I first did this song, I made the presets, but I was using a different version of the song. So when I transported it over to here, presets were in different spots. So I have too many presets here. You can get by with about a third of these. So, yeah. But this is good practice for you. It gets you pushing all your buttons. So now we're going to go from the silly sign, play all of page 1. Page 2, what are you looking for? To coda already. So we're looking for the coda, and the coda happens to be on page 3. All right, coda's very, very long. So now we're going to play the rest of page 3, page 4, and on page 5, there you have your first ending and some dots. And where do those dots take you back to? The beginning part of the coda, which is on page 3, line 4. And then you finish the song. Okay, so it's a little bit screwy. It's got you going several different places. All right, so I'm going to play the song and follow along. Is the intro in what? G7? Yes, the intro is the very first one. Yep, very first one. So let's, I didn't do a sound check. Hopefully it should be all right because, yep, I think that'll be fine. Double notes are good for you. Fun stuff. Yeah, so I had too many presets. You didn't need that many. But so you can figure out which ones you like, which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to toss, and then just put it, reconstruct it in the order that you want to put it in. But it's good practice because I spent a lot of time on this one on harmonies. Harmonies. Okay, there's a lot of stuff you can do with harmonies. You don't have to do all that stuff, but it does make it sound different. And it really does depend on which voice or voice says are you trying to harmonize, and which one do you want to hold as just the voice for the melody. Okay, so yeah, I'm starting it. Put your accompaniment on over here. If you don't, it's not going to work. Set your fade out. Now, something else I learned. If anybody else is using your instrument, or you have a tendency to change the split, to change your split, make sure you double check that before you start your song. Make sure that you're split. I don't like having, I'm not using that third keyboard split up here. I want the third keyboard to go all the way down to where my second and first rights are. Okay? So I want right 3 to be all the way down there as well. So make sure you go to split and fingering and set it where you need to. This is not a song where I'm going to have a third keyboard up here. So you got to make sure that you've got all your sounds blended by going to your split and fingering first. If you forgot how to set fade out, review that as well. That's a direct access with an assignable. And then you just pick one of those and make sure you set your fade out. Set your time for your fade out. How long do you want it to fade out? And then how long do you want it to actually hold before everything pops back up again? And if it pops back up again, make sure that your left hold is not on a sound that's going to seriously hold, like strings or a synthesizer pad, because when those sounds pop back up, that sound on the left is also going to pop back up. And you don't want to do that. So if you've got a sound like that on, just remember that when you touch your fade out, also reach over and touch your left hold and turn it off. That way you know for sure you won't have any problems with your sound from the left-hand chord popping back up when it comes back in. Okay? So just little tiny things like that actually help. I'm on Country Folk 8-beat, which is on Country page 2, and I'm at 180 beats per minute. I think I'm using every single main variation that's there, and in order to test them, you just put them on and you go, okay, what's this one going to do? What's this one going to do? Well, so you play it. That's what you're looking for. Do, do, boom, 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 boom. And then you got lots of guitars in this. Main variation B adds a little bit more on the guitars. Main variation C adds more stuff. And D, it just keeps building. But the main thing is the boom, 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 boom. That goes all the way through this song. And basically all they did was sit and play guitars then. There were some aggressive guitars. So that also gave me a clue as to what am I going to use for my multipads. How about some guitar strums? Yeah, so that's kind of what I did. And then as far as my left-hand chord, I chose that. I just chose a guitar. I thought that would be good. So there's your sound. Could have been anything else, but since there were lots of guitars, I used a guitar for my left-hand sound. Now, finding the sounds for your singers wasn't all that hard, but I wanted to build. So when I started with my singer just being a 70s suitcase warm piano. Okay, that's just a 70s piano. And there's lots and lots of them in there. And then when I started adding, I added, what else did I add? The angel pad. The angel pad gives it a little more body. Without it, there's your 70s piano. A little bit dry. So when I added an angel pad, see how much thicker it got? Do you remember on the Lowrys back in the day when they used to have the magic vibes? The magic vibes used to be vibes with an 8-foot flute. And that was the same type of a concept here, that you're adding that pad underneath it to just give it some body. Without it, hear the difference? So that angel pad really helps with just giving my vocals some body. And then I also added a girls do. Now there's no girls singing in this. It's guys, but it is the right syllable. Do 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 do. So I use the girls do along with my other two voices. And that's what makes up Simon and Garfunkel in my head. In my head. And so I'm using all of these together. Actually, I'm only using the 70s Suitcase Warm, your piano, and your girls do for the intro. For the intro. Why? Because I felt like it. And there's no harmony on. You are playing the harmony. It's double notes. You're playing the harmony. It's good practice for you. So this is number 1, is your intro. Preset number 1. Preset number 2 comes in at the beginning of your song. Where I went to main variation B, I just added a couple things. Now I'm going to kick in with a multipad. What's this multipad actually doing? It's a steel 8-beat strum. That's a guitar strum. I told you we were going to do lots of guitars here. So that's what the multipad is doing. That's what the multipad is doing. 2 starts at the beginning of your printed page. And here's to you. Okay? Now, no, 1 is just for the intro. 2 starts the beginning of your printed page. And I thought about putting that girls do in as well. And if you feel like it, go ahead. As I said, you can cut this down by about 1/3. But I decided to just do that whole first page with just one singer, one voice. One voice. See, the whole first page is just with the one voice. And you're strumming guitar. All right, then when I get to number 3, where are you going to start that? The second page, second line, measure 2, beat 3, over that quarter rest. That's where you want to put number 3. Number 3. All right, so what am I doing for number 3? I'm adding the do. And I'm also doing double notes. I have to give you the double notes. So that's going to be something that I'll add those in a minute. Okay, so you're going to do double notes again. All right, now at the bottom of the page, we're just going to do single notes. So we're still on number 3. Single notes, but you're going to have all your sounds. What am I doing in the multipad? I'm adding a nylon basic guitar for number 2. And remember, number 1 is going to import itself. Well, what's number 2 going to sound like? So that when I get the 2 of them together, I'm going to have some good stuff going on. 2 different guitars, just a strumming. All right. So and remember, before you do your memory, you do select 2, and so the 2 is blinking, and then you do your memory. Don't touch number 1. Number 1's going to import itself from preset 2. So don't touch that one, or else you're going to change the sound. Because right now, multipads, all 4 multipads are right now nylon guitar basic. I'm only going to choose one of those, and that's the number 2. Number 1 is from the previous. It's the strum 8-beat, and that's importing itself to number 1. So I've got 2 different guitars going on in your multipads. All right, so number 3 is going to go, we'd like to know a little bit about you for our files. We'd like to help you learn to help yourself. Look around you. All you see are sympathetic eyes. Stroll around the grounds until you feel at home. Oh, okay. Third page, third line, measure 2. Right after you play the A for the word home, that's where number 4 goes. So that, and here's to you. Back to the silly sign. That's number 4. So what am I doing in number 4? Adding another multipad, and I'm adding harmony. Adding a multipad and adding harmony. Okay, so what am I doing? Chord add-ons. Huh, what does that sound like? Oh, more guitars, just doing crazy stuff. Okay, so that, along with the other 2 strumming guitars, just gives you more stuff going on in the backgrounds. Harmony on, and I've got a country duet, direct access, harmony. I'm using country duet, and then I touch this little gear down here. Okay, my volume is all the way up to 114. You could have done it all the way to the top if you want. And I'm assigning rate 2. That means rate 2, which is the female do, girls do, is going to be the one that's going to have the country harmony. That's the one that's going to go on top. Now remember, I got to play a chord in order to make that work. But that harmony is going to be on country duet. Actually, no, I think country duet goes under. Nope, I'm sorry, country duet goes on top. Country duet, your harmony goes on top, just like on the Lowrys. Okay, so number 4, we're back to the beginning of the song, and we're using a duet. All right, now we get to the 2 coda. So the 2 coda sends you over to page 3. You've got a G chord, and at the end of that measure, you want number 5. Preset number 5. What am I doing on preset number 5? I'm going to main variation D, which gives me more stuff, and I'm adding another multipad. What's that multipad doing? It's from Steel 8-Beat Strums. Oh, but it's drums. Okay, now what's cool is that number 4 in a lot of your multipads is going to be some kind of a drum. And if you remember that, then when you want to add more drums to your bass, just check number 4 in most of them. It's going to give you some extra drums. So now I've got 3 different guitars and like some congas. Some congas going on. What am I doing for harmony? Country duet. Okay. And I'm basically just leaving it the same. Okay. Number 6. Where does that come in? Right away at the bottom of the 3rd page where the rest is. Right? Why did I change so fast? It didn't have to. It's just that I made a mistake when I did the presets and I didn't want to waste them. So number 6, I went back to main variation C. I turned the harmony off. That's one of my favorite lines of all time. Put it in your pantry with your cupcakes. Sure, everybody keeps their cupcakes in the pantry. Number 6 goes at page 3, last line, last measure. Put it right before put it in your pantry. Yep, that's where number 6 goes. So number 5 is actually very short. Almost unnecessary, but that's okay, because I'm going to give you double notes there as well. All right, now, where does number 7 go? Number 7 goes on page 4, line 4, second measure. Right after the word kids, you're going to put number 7 and number 9. 7 and 9. Cuckoo, cachoo. 7 and 9. And what am I doing there? Adding some harmony again. But I'm changing the harmony. Oh no, I'm sorry, number 8 I'm changing the harmony. So I'm still on country duet. I'm basically leaving it the same. Where does number 8 go? The end of the song, your first ending. That's where number 8 goes. So number 8, I'm adding an octave harmony. Why? Because I can. It just gives you a little bit of a change up. Hear how low it got? Now when you play double notes, it gives it more body, having the octave there. And then going to the candidates debate, it just kind of puts the emphasis on those words. Going to the candidates debate. And then when you go back to number 9, which is in the same place as number 7, basically you're just doing 7 and 9 are basically the same because you're going back to a country harmony. So yeah, you can cut out about 1/3 of these and be fine.
John,
Yeah.
where did you put 8?
8 is the last page, the end of the first ending. So that when you go back to sitting on a sofa, when you go back to page 3, to your dots, you're sitting on a sofa on a Sunday afternoon, and that's where your octave harmony's coming in, but I'm going to give you double notes.
Thank you.
Why? Because I can. Because I have to make it a little harder for you. All right, everything's going to be in thirds, so it's actually going to be kind of fun. All right, let's go through the music. There's no changes of chords. Your chords are exactly as written, so no changes of chords. Page 1, no changes. Page 2, second line. We'd like to know a little bit. Okay, you're going to put harmony notes on top. So over the F, you're going to put an A. Over the next F, put an A. Over the next F, put an A. Over the E's, put G. Everything is in thirds. Over the next E, put a G. Third line, over the D, put an F. Over the next D, put an F. Over the C, put an E. Over the C, put an E in the top space. Over the B, put a D on the fourth line. Over the next B, put a D on the fourth line. Over the A, put a C on the third space. Over the G, put a B on the third line. And over the next G, put a B on the third line. Now what happens if you don't feel like playing those? Don't. Just play what's there. It's okay. You take it as far as you want to go. Let's go to the fourth line. Over the E's, put G's on the top space over the staff. Over the E, G. Over the E, G. Over the E, G. Over the D, put an F fish on the top line. Over the D, put an F fish flounder on the top line. Over the C, put an E elephant on the top space for the whole measure. Over each C, put an E. Last line, over the B flat, put a D dinosaur on the top, the fourth line. Not a D flat, just a D. Now the next line, look around you, just play single notes. Okay, now the third page. Line 4. Hide it in a hiding place where no one ever goes. Okay, so that's going to be double notes. And again, it's all in thirds. So over the F's, put A alligator. The first line over the staff. Over the F, put an A. Over the E, put a G in the first space over the staff. Over the E, put a G. Over the D, put an F fish on the top line. Over the D, put an F fish top line. Over the C, put an E elephant, top space. Over the next C, same thing, an E elephant, top space. Over the B, put a D dinosaur, fourth line. Over the C, put an E elephant, top space. Over the B, put a D dinosaur, fourth line. Over the A, put a C chicken, third space. Over the G, put a B butterfly, third line. Now, when you put it in your pantry, you're just playing single notes. And then the second time you play it, it's also going to be single notes, but now you're just going to go to the candidates debate. Okay, so you got to play it the way you sing it. Second line, it's a little secret, just the Robinsons' affair. Double notes. So we're on page 4, line 2. Over the F, put an A alligator. Over the F, put an A alligator. Over the E flat, put a G gorilla, the first space over the staff. Over the E flat, put a G gorilla. Next measure, over the D, put an F fish, top line. Over the D, put an F fish, top line. Be careful here. Over the C, put an E flat. E flat over the C. Over the B flat, put a D dinosaur, fourth line. Last measure in that line, over the E flat, put a G gorilla. Over the E flat, put a G gorilla. Over the D, put an F fish. Over the B flat, put a D dinosaur. And the next line over the C, put an E flat or a flat E, top space. And that's it, my friends. Then the next of it is all just play the single notes because I'm throwing in the harmony. Okay, any questions before I play it again? And now you can listen, because now that you know where all these changes are, now you can be listening for them. Okay, Mrs. Robinson. And I'm using my foot pedals to get me from one to the next. Sync start, you could have programmed that in. I never do. I don't know why. I just never do. And now we do the intro with the D to D to Ds. to number 8 and go back to page 3. That octave harmony. Left hold. Oh. Fun to play. It really fun looking for the um drums in number drums or percussion. Go to any multi-pad. Number 4 is going to give you some cool things. So by accident, you're going to find a lot of cool things. All right. 2 weeks from today. Good to be true. Eyes off of awesome. Thank you. And
Could you
your
repeat
summer.
what's coming in 2 weeks? Because the signal died.
Oh, it did. Oh, can't get my eyes off of you, Frankie Val.
We're still not hearing this.
You're not. Okay. Can't get my eyes off of you.
Did you say can't take my eyes off of you?
Correct. Yep, that is correct. Yep. All right. Well, we got some storms coming in again, so we're probably going to have internet issues. So it's a good thing we're done with the lesson. You guys are awesome.
Question,
Yeah.
where did you put 6?
6. 6 is on page 3, bottom line. Measure 3, right before put it in your pantry with your cupcakes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Bye, everybody.